Hi everyone, in the last video we made this simple drinking cup. Now I don't want to denigrate anyone's efforts here, as I realize that was probably your first model ever, and that's pretty awesome in and of itself, but I think if we're all honest we can accept that this cup itself probably wasn't that impressive. In this video we'll be making a pretentious ass wine glass, which should be noticeably more impressive even though it is still pretty basic. We'll also be learning a lot more about the tools Fusion provides us with, because the real drinking glasses are the tools we learned along the way. To build this wine glass, we're going to sketch its profile and then spin that profile around to create the actual glass. Start a new sketch on the front plane and name it Glass Profile. Sketch a 60mm circle about 75mm off the ground to represent the bottom of the part that will hold the wine. To sketch the top, we're going to use a 2-point rectangle. The 2-part rectangle is a dirt simple tool to add a rectangle to your sketch. To use it, select the tool, click where you want to put one of the rectangle's corners, and then click where you want to put the opposite corner. Draw a 2-point rectangle for the top that is just slightly more narrow than the circle we just drew. Don't worry about what it looks like on the right side because we only need the left half to create the glass like this. In fact, let's use the line tool to cut this in half. The line tool is about as simple as it gets. It just draws lines. Click to add new segments to your line. You can also click and drag the mouse to get a curved line instead of a straight one. Draw a vertical line going through the middle of our cup. This line will divide the part that we're working on from the part that we can ignore, and will also serve as an axis of rotation later. Next, we're going to get rid of this junk in the middle of our cup. For that, we'll use the trim tool. The trim tool is useful when you need to cut away just part of a line. To use it, select it and click whatever you want to get rid of. If you're looking to cut through a whole bunch of stuff, you can just click and drag. Grab the scissors and cut away the junk from the inside. Our sketch is starting to look a little bit more like a wine glass, but an actual wine glass doesn't really have these sharp corners. To get rid of the corners, we're going to use the Fillet Tool. The Fillet Tool is in fact pronounced fillet, but you can pronounce it fillet if you want because I don't really care. It transforms sharp corners into rounded edges. To use it, select the tool and then click whatever corners you want to round out. You can drag the arrow to adjust the effect, or you can just type in whatever you want. Grab your Fillet Tool and click the corner. Drag the arrow around until it looks wine glassy. Next, we'll use the Offset tool to hollow this out. The Offset tool creates a copy of a shape that is bigger or smaller than the original. To use it, select the tool, click the shape, and then drag the arrow to control the size. As always, you can also just type in what you want. Select the Offset tool and click our glass. Set the offset to whatever you want your wall thickness to be. Our wine glass is now hollow, but we need to cut the roof off of it. Use the line tool to connect the inside upper left corner to the line immediately above it, then grab your scissors and cut away the top. Let's also use the Fillet tool to round out these corners. The upper part of our wine glass is looking pretty sharp. Let's use the Spline tool to create the lower part now. The Spline tool, also known as the bendy line tool, draws a bendy line. I mean, technically it's more complicated than that and there's a bunch of math behind this, but really at the end of the day it's just a bendy line. It works similar to the line tool in that you can click to add points, but those points will be connected by a bendy line instead of a straight one. When you're done, just click the little checkbox to create the bendy line. Grab your bendy line tool and sketch out the rough shape you want for the bottom of your glass. Once the bendy line is completed, you can click and drag the individual points in order to tweak it. Note that each point also has these little green anchor dealies. You can click and drag them as well to change how the line passes through the point. Once you have your bendy line the way you like it, grab the line tool and close off the bottom of the glass. Our profile is now complete, so hit Finish Sketch. We'll use the Revolve tool to make this into a three-dimensional object. The Revolve tool takes a profile, which can be any closed-in shape, and spins it around an axis, which can be any line. To use it, simply tell it which profile and axis you want. Note that you can also do partial revolutions for situations where you might not need to spin it all the way around. Select the Revolve tool and select the top and bottom of the wine glass for our profiles. Use the vertical line in the middle as our axis and hit OK to create our wine glass. And here is our wine glass. We used a bunch of new tools to make it, but if you've been paying attention, you've probably noticed that all of these tools are really simple and work in extremely predictable ways. Join us next time when we make another cup, but this one will be even fancier, so I mean that's cool. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe because we've structured things so that every single video on YouTube has to contain the phrase like and subscribe, even though it adds literally nothing to the video and just wastes everyone's time and bandwidth. Thanks for watching!